Bloody hell, take 5. What's up guys, Human here, welcome back to another video. So it's harder filming at work than I thought, what with people buzzing, and this is meant to be a JuiceFast Day 1 video, but it is not, because I've been drafted into work at the last moment due to staff shortages, and literally everyone in the dog is sick, usually apart from me. This is the downside about being ultra healthy, because I don't usually get sick, and when I do, it's usually for like 2 days. I mean, I do sometimes get sick, but that's only because of if I detox too quickly, like if I take too much coconut oil, if I take too much iodine, or if I just fast for too long to the point where my body is pushing out more toxins than it can handle, then I get sick. But just like the average person that gets sick during the seasons, I end up doing overtime because I'm the only one currently not, sneezing up their own bloody eyeballs. So yeah, today is JuiceFast Day 0. Now it is Day 0 for a very, very important reason, because I had to come into work and I was planning whenever I do any sort of a fast, no work, no stress, no nothing, just keep me going, because I've been doing this for long enough. And this is tip number 1 for anyone starting a fast: do not book it in the middle of busy season. Please, like, take some time off, maybe take a week off just to get used to it. Now this is going to be a bit different than before, because some of my more savvy listeners have basically pointed out that I wasn't actually truly fasting to begin with. Because when I did my fast last time, in my last video, which was when I hadn't eaten in about 63 days, what I realized was that I was still having small amounts of calories through my bulletproof coffee. Now, my bulletproof coffee had a tiny amount of butter in it, and sometimes a bit of grass-fed raw milk. And that in itself doesn't technically count as 100% fasting. So, well spotted. So today or tomorrow, I'll be starting a proper Day 0, a Day 1 juice fast. That means 0 calories. And just as a quick rundown, because I have a few things to talk about because I'm running out of time, break time. Is I'm going to be having stuff like this. This is sauerkraut juice. This is fermented cabbage, or I take the juice and I ferment it, and it's full of vitamin C and probiotics and stuff. I'll be having water, obviously. I'll be having tea, I'll be having juice, I'll be having bone broth, but without any of the other, so it'll be 0 calorie bone broth. It'll just be the stuff taken out. And I hope that the soup was turned off at home, because I left the stove on after I left. Do you know when you leave the stove on after you've left and you've asked someone to turn it off, but you don't trust if that person has turned it off? So you're like, oh shit, I hope we don't come home and there's like a smoking crater. Yeah, that's what I'm feeling right now. It should be fine. Anyway, so I'll be having the bone broth, and I'll be having a few other brews that I need to work up the courage to tell you what are, because they're a bit strange, let's just say, but I will let you know later on. Now, key point, there's a few things that I was going to include, and this is another tip if you want to be doing a juice fast. There are a few things that you should not include that will actually slow you down. That is if you're doing a lot more, some of the more relatively advanced stuff. Water kefir, don't do it. Almond kefir, don't do it. Any and all kefirs, do not take them unless you know exactly what you're doing, for the reason that unless you ferment it 100% well, you are still drip feeding yourself sugar. And that will slow down your fast, and it will keep you in a state whereby you're still feeding the toxins, the pathogens, the parasites that will go to town on that sugar, because it's the only food that they will take. But this is why you have to take out any and all forms of sugar. As it is Day 0, I thought I might talk about, just some quick tips and just some rapid fire health advice that I've learned. Because as you know, I work at a health and supplement company that I'm currently at the moment, and there's a few things that honestly deserve their own videos, but I know how absolutely just scatterbrained I am, so it's better now that it's actually on the tip of my tongue that I actually get this out. 1, about skin health. I've had multiple customers come in and they complain that they have skin issues. More often than not that they are women, and the most common thing that I find is that they have skin issues on their face. And what do most women put on their face? Makeup. They put all sorts of petroleum-based, substances and stuff like that. And then they complain that, oh, you've got to, do all sorts of cleanses and stuff like that to get rid of your skin, but they still put on makeup. I'm sorry, the makeup has to come off for at least a week or 2 if you want to see some good skin results. Your face needs a detox. Now, for the rest of the guys out there, or anyone else, if you have skin issues and you're putting on lots of different skin products, what you will find is that the sun itself will become your worst enemy. Because eventually, after a while, the sun's rays will start to react with the chemicals that are in the skin that are not being detoxed, because you're putting too much stuff on your skin. And then you start to have all sorts of stuff like blemishes, like your skin will even start to wrinkle, and you'll start to get these like black blotches and all sorts of other stuff, because the sun itself is starting to react with it. And I've heard a few theories out there, do not quote me on this, that a lot of skin cancers are caused because people are going out there and they're putting all sorts of chemicals on their skin, and the sun is then reacting to those chemicals, which will then cause skin cancer. Now, again, I'm not a doctor. Go do your own research. This is just what I found. But I've always found it extremely strange that we've been living in the sun for thousands upon thousands of years, yet skin cancer rates have never been higher, and the doctors are telling us to stay out the sun. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, that is another topic for another video. What I also wanted to say is I'm insane. I am absolutely batshit insane. And I know that. I drive myself to absolutely extreme forms of health craziness. And there are multiple reasons for that. But one reason that I want to talk about is actually kind of spiritual. Is that when you cleanse your body, you literally become a different person. You become the person who you were designed to be. The body was not designed to be full of riddled with toxins. The body was not designed to be out of order in so many different forms. The problem is that we are now fishes in water. We don't realize just how toxic we are until we stop. And then when we stop, what we start to realize is that we actually have almost superpowers. The human body is absolutely extraordinary. Clairvoyance, clairaudience, you know, telepathy, all these crazy powers that people talk about. Like, I genuinely believe that they are real, and I've had multiple episodes of that myself. Like, knowing when people are about to call. It happens, you know, like knowing when people are thinking, knowing when people are thinking about you, and then they call. As I detox, these sorts of experiences do start to happen more and more often. Like, I literally just, like, last night, I just looked at the phone and said, my granddad is about to call me. 5 minutes later, he called me. It's like, shit like that. It's like, it sounds woo-woo, but we were designed to be doing these things, and we look down on it because our society deliberately tries to tell us that all these things are just woo-woo and all this nonsense. Like, I was listening to a very, very famous podcast, and they were talking about cleanses and stuff, and I was like, oh, this detox stuff, it's just a bunch of nonsense, isn't it? And I'm thinking, these guys, they have been deceived, and they have been deceived for their own detriment. And it's not like if you try and bring this knowledge to them, they're just going to be like, oh yeah, that's great, thank you. No, people have a vested interest in being deceived. Why? Because they are afraid of their own emotions. They do not want to face the truth of their own existence. They do not want to face their own hypocrisy. So it's multi-layered, and I could go into this for ages and ages. But honestly, we are gods in flesh. That's what I believe. We are gods in flesh. And it's like if you look back at all of the ancient civilizations like the Sumerians and all the other ones who had great standards of living, great standards of health. They had structures that harnessed scalar energy, and they, like, honestly, like, I'm trying to do too many topics at once here, but basically what I'm saying is that the reason why I cleanse is because we are living a fraction of our potential, and there's a lot of knowledge that has been hidden from us, and a lot of the stuff that we can access ourselves if we just get our bodies clean enough. But back to the nitty-gritty of it, the reason why I cleanse is because we are living a fraction of our potential. We are living literally with the lights turned down in various different aspects of our body. The thing is that we don't realize it. We're just used to growing up in a culture whereby everyone is just sick. So when I do these cleanses, when I do these fasts, it's not just because I want to lose weight. It's not just because, oh, you know, because what bloody weight do I have? It's not just because I want to, you know, look good in the mirror. It's because whenever I actually do fast, I become more and more connected to myself. I become more and more connected to source consciousness, to energy. And I've been holding back on a lot of the more spiritual times, but I think I'm just going to lay them out there. I do, like I said before, I think that we are gods in flesh, and we are living a fraction of our potential. And it's kind of sad, really. Honestly, it's kind of sad that we have been so brainwashed to believe that, you know, that we are just these human beings in this flesh. That we have been brainwashed to believe that we are just these small creatures with very limited potential. That we have not been taught that we quite literally create our own realities. That we are the authors of our past and the authors of our future. That we can manifest whatever the hell we want if we really are in the right mind frame to. Because I've only recently just understood enough about manifestation to know just how bloody dangerous it is, and how there are some techniques that I literally do not use because I know that I am not ready for them, and whenever I do, shit happens that I do not want to happen. But then when it does happen, it makes sense. Like, for example, if you want to attract a certain situation or circumstance or person, you will attract that, but you will attract it in a way that basically will be energetically aligned to where you are right now in yourself, in your being. The thing is that we don't fully understand who we are in our own self and in our own being, so then we will attract something that is resonating with our dysfunctional self, which will just cause more dysfunction. So it's like a wrecking ball hitting another wrecking ball. It's just not going to work. I'm talking about laws of manifestation on JuiceFast Day 0. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing my JuiceFast. I'll be starting again. I promise, guys, all of this will get its own video, because as you can tell, I can talk for ages about this. Laws of manifestation. JuiceFast day 1 coming up tomorrow. I'll be doing it once every 2 to 3 days because I'm also doing no vape and no vap, and I'll be doing it regularly. I'll be showing you what I'm making, not everything at once. So one JuiceFast, one day I'll show you, I'll be using my camera, how to make my juices, what juices to use, some tips and stuff like that, and I'll be trying to lay it out in some sort of coherent format. So this is JuiceFast day 1. We are gods in human flesh. I am late from work. I am late to return to work. What a weird world we're living in. Bye.